there, it's Lindsay. Welcome back to The Wandering Reader. Today I'm going to be talking about all of these series that I've started but I haven't actually finished. And actually, when I started pulling them down off my shelves, I'm a bit shocked by how many there are. So I'm not going to be talking about series where they're not complete series. I found it difficult to get my words out then. So series that are not complete because the writer hasn't finished them off yet. I'm not going to be talking about those because I've got a few of those on my shelf, but you know, can't help it if the last books aren't out yet. And I'm also not going to be talking about series that I've got but I haven't started at all. That's a whole different video. So yeah, these are series that I've started and I just haven't finished for some reason. So let's just jump right in. The first series that I'm going to talk to you about is the Mortal Instruments series. So at the moment I own City of Bones. I've just acquired City of Ashes. Book 3 is City of Glass. Then we've got book 4, City of Fallen Angels. And book 5, City of Lost Souls. I don't own book 6. I'm still looking around for that at the moment. So I have read City of Bones. I've read this, I think, a couple of years ago now. I wasn't enamoured by it, I have to say. I think it was probably about a three-star read for me. But I thought I'd give the other ones a go, just because so many people on BookTube talk about how great the Mortal Instruments series is, and then there's a series called, I think, The Infernal Devices, which is like a prequel trilogy to this one, and then people are talking about Lady Midnight and is it Lord of Shadows? I can't remember what that series is called, but that's another kind of spin-off series of it, or prequel series or something like that. So I thought I would continue on, and I've been waiting to get my hands on the second book, and I finally picked up a copy of this month, so I haven't actually hauled this yet. So yeah, now I can actually continue. It's just a matter of when I get around to reading that second one. Next up, I've got the Selection series. So we've got the Selection, the Elite, the One. I've got Happily Ever After, which is the short story collection. And then I've just recently bought The Heir, which is book number 4. And there's one more book in the series, which I believe is called The Crown. So I have read these 4. And obviously I haven't got around to reading The Heir yet because I've only just bought this. I don't really need any motivation at all to read these, because you pick them up and read them within a couple of days and they're like guilty pleasures. So I don't think once I acquire the last book, I don't think it's going to take me too much at all to finish that series off, and I have actually really enjoyed it. Next up, I've got the Lord of the Rings trilogy plus The Hobbit. I put this on this was one of my goals, to reread this series this year, because I haven't actually got around to reading the third book, which is The Return of the King. When I originally read these, I started The Return of the King because I'd left it so long in between The Two Towers and The Return of the King. I'd kind of lost track of who characters were and things like that. But I'm a massive fan of the films. I have actually reread The Hobbit this year and quite enjoyed it. Not quite as much as I wanted to, but you know, I haven't had the motivation to pick up the first one in this series and reread it. I've put it on my wish list on Audible, and what I might do is when I finish listening to the last 3 Harry Potter books, I might kind of listen to these in my car on the way to work every day. So that might be how I finish off that series. We'll see how it goes. Next up, I have got the Lunar Chronicles series. So I have got Scarlet and Cinder. I've read both of these. I just haven't got around to picking up copies of the rest of the series. So book number 3 is called Cress, book number 4 is called Winter, and I think there are a couple of sort of short story collections or a couple of novellas or something like that. So I did think about getting Cress this month, but just at the moment I haven't had a chance to do that. So, but these are really great. It took me a while to pick up Scarlet after yeah, it's Cinder first, isn't it, and then Scarlet. It took me a while to pick up Scarlet after Cinder, but as soon as I did, I was straight back into the world again, and really liked it, really enjoyed it. So we'll definitely pick up Cress at some point and continue on. Now this next series is probably going to be quite a surprise to some of you that I haven't actually finished it, and that is the His Dark Materials series. So we've got Northern Lights, The Subtle Knife and The Amber Spyglass. I've read Northern Lights. I've read it ages ago, I think about 10 years ago now, so I think what's stopping me from continuing on is that I could really do with rereading Northern Lights before I read the other two. My husband absolutely loves these books and keeps talking about how I should, and I think I've got even more motivation now because the first book in the Book of Dust series, or is it going to be a trilogy? I don't really know. It's coming out, and I've actually pre-ordered a really lovely special edition of that. Yeah, so that really should give me motivation to carry on. We'll see. The next series I've got to show you is the Miss Peregrines series. So we've got Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, Hollow City and Library of Souls. I have read Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, so I've read the first book, but I just haven't got around to reading the other two. I quite liked the first book. I thought it was kind of told in quite a unique way with the photographs and things like that. It was an intriguing story, but I don't know, just something about it. I just don't have the motivation to pick up books 2 and 3. I mean, what do you think, guys? If you read this whole series, is it worth me picking up books 2 and 3? Does it get really interesting? I don't know, just something about it puts me off, and I can't really put my finger on what that is. Yeah, you guys need to give me some motivation to pick up those ones in the comments below. Next up, I've got Sebastians Faulk's French trilogy. So we've got The Girl at the Lion Door, Birdsong and Charlotte Gray. I've read Birdsong, which I've just, when I looked it up on Goodreads, I didn't even realise this before, Birdsong is number 2. So are you supposed to have read these in order? I'm not really sure. Yeah, does it matter that I've read Birdsong first? I have had these for years and I have had absolutely no motivation to read them. My husband has read them. Can't really remember what he said about them. But I remember really loving Birdsong when I first read it. So am I going to be as enamoured by The Girl at the Lion Door and Charlotte Gray? Again, if you've read those books, I'd love, you know, please talk to me in the comments below. Am I supposed to have read them in order? Does that matter? And then what did you think of the trilogy as a whole? Yeah. Next up, I've got Carlos Ruiz Zafon's The Cemetery of Forgotten Books trilogy. So we've got The Shadow of the Wind, The Angel's Game and The Prisoner of Heaven. Now, I've read the first 2 and particularly loved The Shadow of the Wind. Really did like The Angel's Game. That was a little bit weird from what I remember. But I actually haven't read the 3rd book in the trilogy, so The Prisoner of Heaven. And it was such a long time ago now that I've read the other 2 that I'm kind of thinking I may need to reread them before I read this one. I think just because the story did get so strange in The Angel's Game that I might not kind of get into this one. I don't really know. Yeah, we'll have to see about that one. They're quite chunky books for me to reread, but I did really, like I said, enjoy The Shadow of the Wind, so I don't think it'll take much for me to reread it, but getting around to it is the question. Another series that I have started is the Anna and the French Kiss series. So I own Anna and the French Kiss, and I've just recently bought Lola and the Boy Next Door, and I don't own the 3rd book, which is called Isla and the Happily Ever After. I read Anna and the French Kiss at the very beginning of last year. I got this as a Christmas present for my husband and really enjoyed it. And I've heard that the 2nd book and the 3rd book are even better than the first one. So, like I said, the only reason I haven't carried on is because it's taken me up until now to buy it. So I think I get along with the selection series. I don't think it's going to take me much motivation to pick that one up. Next up, we've got the Maze Runner series. So we've got the Maze Runner, the Scorch Trials, the Death Cure and the Kill Order, which is a prequel in the series, but it's still classing it as book number 4. I only just picked up a copy of The Kill Order. I found this practically brand new in a charity shop this month, and it matched all of my covers, which is great. I've read The Maze Runner. I've read it last year at some point. Thought it was quite good. I'd seen the film before I read the book, so I sort of already knew what was going to happen, and I think that sort of spoiled it a little bit for me, because I was just waiting for things to happen that I'd seen in the film. So I think that has made me not want to pick up the other ones, and my husband he didn't like love them. He hasn't read the last one because I've only just picked that up, but he didn't love them, and that's kind of making me lose motivation to read the other ones. So again, if you've read these, what did you think of them? Is it going to be a priority for me, like based on my reading tastes? I don't know, let me know. Next up, we've got the Raven Cycle series by Maggie Stiefvater, and I own the first book, The Raven Boys. I've read this. I don't own any of the other ones, and I've spoken to quite a few people about this. I just didn't like it that much. I think I gave it 3 stars. It was a bit of a, it was alright book for me, but yeah, I didn't really get, people rave about this series and I didn't really get that at all. So yeah, I haven't had the motivation to even buy the second one because I don't think I'm going to enjoy it. But then I haven't unhauled it either. So that kind of makes me think that maybe I'll get the second one. I don't know. Next up, I've got the Percy Jackson series. So I own Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, and Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters, so books 1 and 2. I've read the first one, quite liked it. It was very Harry Potter-esque. It reminded me a lot of the structure of Harry Potter and the way that it's told. It reminded me a lot of that. Just, yeah, it's Harry Potter but with Greek gods, I think. So this is middle grade. It's not really aimed at my age group. It was kind of fun. I found the second one in a charity shop, but I just haven't had the motivation to pick it up. I don't know, what do we think of the Percy Jackson series? Should I read the second one? Should I bother collecting them? Let me know, guys. Last 3 series, guys. So first of all, I've got the Rosie Project series. So I've got the Rosie Project and the Rosie Effect. This is a duology. I've read the Rosie Project, really liked it. The main character in this reminds me a lot of Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory, and I am a massive fan of The Big Bang Theory. My husband has read both of these and he didn't like the second book as much as he liked the first book. So that has kind of put me off a little bit reading these. But yeah, I really did like book number 1. So it's only a duology as well, like it's 2 books. I've read one, I just need to read the other one. So it won't take much for me to read it. Yeah, soon. Then I have got here the Shantaram series, I think that's what it's called. So we've got Shantaram and The Mountain Shadow by Gregory David Roberts. I've read Shantaram, it's quite a chunker. I think it was about, how many pages was it? About 900? 933. So it took me quite a while to read this, but it is like an epic not adventure, that's probably the wrong word for it, but it's about a guy who moves to India from Australia. He escapes from an Australian prison and goes to India, where he lives in a Bombay slum, and it's just about his time in India and the different things that happen to him, and it was absolutely fascinating. At the time that I read it, there was no talk whatsoever of a sequel, but then I think last year he brought out the sequel to it, which is The Mountain Shadow. Again, it's quite a chunker of a book, so this one is 871 pages. The font looks like it's a little bit bigger. Yeah, the Faultless Lives is a little bit bigger really. So yeah, I think because of its size I haven't had the motivation to pick it up, but I loved Shantaram. It was a really great book. Learned so much in it and was shocked by so much in it as well. So I think I should really put this like on a tome top or TBR or something like that, and maybe that will give me the motivation to pick it up maybe later in the year or early in 2018. And then the last series that I want to talk about, well done for sticking with it, is the Shatter Me series by Tahera Mafi. She recently announced that she was going to be writing a spin-off series to this one, but because it's not part of the actual main series, that's why I've put it in this video still. So Shatter Me is the first one, and then I think it's something like Ignite Me and Unravel Me and Ignite Me, I think the other two are called. So this was good. I quite enjoyed it. I didn't really like the writing style, the way that it was told. There were lots of bits crossed out and I just wasn't a big fan of it. Like you can see here, there's lots of kind of things crossed out, and for a reason. There is a reason for it. I just didn't like that as a stylistic choice. So I've heard that books 2 and 3 are better than book 1. So again, if you've read this trilogy, should I, because I don't own the other two, should I buy the other two? Is it worth me continuing on? Yeah, because again, I read this, again my husband bought me this for Christmas last year, so I read this in January of last year, and haven't had the motivation to buy the other two. So there we go. There you go guys, they are all the series that I have started but not actually finished. I need some motivation to pick the sequels up of some of these that I've mentioned, so please have a chat with me in the comments below. I love chatting to you guys as always. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.